We conversed for a few more minutes, but the smiles vanished from my husband and mother-in-law's faces. "Sophia, are you all right?" my husband inquired impatiently, hinting at a possible plot. Suddenly, my mother-in-law, Evelyn, stood up, clutching her stomach in pain. "Ouch! Oh, what's wrong with me? Why do I have this much pain in my stomach? This can't be," she exclaimed. Concerned, I asked, "Mom, what's wrong with you?" "Why do I have to have this much pain in my stomach?" Evelyn questioned, her discomfort evident. Luna, my mother-in-law, and I had switched the tea, leading to my husband's impatience. "Why did you do that? What's wrong if I switched?" Luna, my 27-year-old self, responded, "I am an office worker named Luna, married to Henry for 3 years. We met at work, where he was a mid-career hire. Our relationship blossomed, and we enjoyed a happy newlywed life. However, recently, Henry's behavior has changed, especially his attitude towards me. He used to seek my attention and follow me everywhere at home. I had to instruct him to be patient, almost like training a puppy. However, these days, he rarely pampers me as he used to. His sweet voice has turned cold, and even when I made his favorite dinner hamburgers, his reaction lacked enthusiasm. Initially, my husband was kind and supportive, but lately, he's become disinterested. Another source of concern is my mother-in-law, who has been critical since the beginning of our marriage. Previously, my husband would take my side and confront his mother, but now he has joined her in criticizing me. He even threatens divorce, a drastic change from his previous behavior. Feeling a mix of sadness and a desire to trust my husband, I experienced an unexpected event one weekend. My mother-in-law, who typically disapproved, brought expensive tea and sweets, expressing a cheerful demeanor. For some reason, I decided to bring these treats. "Let's drink the tea together," she said, surprising me with this unusual gesture. I can't fathom why she's suddenly so kind to me. It feels like there's some hidden agenda behind it. My husband, too, unexpectedly volunteered to make the tea recently. He's been urging me to hurry up and set the table because his mother is waiting, a stark contrast to his usual behavior. Feeling uneasy, I received a cup of tea from my husband, who wore a peculiar expression. As my mother-in-law praised the aroma, I detected something off, strange bubbles floating in the tea. Suspicious, I pondered whether it was safe to drink. Attempting to divert attention, I mentioned that I had recorded a music show featuring her favorite Korean singer. Seizing the opportunity, my mother-in-law went to fetch the remote control. I used this moment to switch my tea with hers. When my husband was asked about snacks, he hastily went to get them. Seizing the moment, I replaced my tea with my mother-in-law's. As they returned to the table, both unaware of the swap, they praised the tea's exceptional taste. "I must say," I commented, noticing grins on my husband and mother-in-law's faces. "Oh, I know. It's different," my husband acknowledged, and they both laughed when I remarked that it was delicious. As we continued chatting, the smiles gradually faded from their faces. Concerned, my husband inquired if I was all right, sensing that something might be amiss. Responding to his impatience, I assured him that everything was fine. Suddenly, my mother-in-law stood up, clutching her stomach in pain. "Ouch! Oh, what's wrong with me?" she exclaimed, rushing to the bathroom. Concerned, I asked, "Mom, what's wrong with you? Why do I have this much pain in my stomach?" she questioned, distressed. Panicking, my husband suspected foul play and accused, "Hey Luna, did you switch the tea?" I admitted to switching the teas with a sense of urgency, and he demanded an explanation. "Why did you do that? Does it mean there was something bad in the first tea?" he interrogated. "No, it's just that..." I hesitated, prompting him to insist on the truth to avoid any potential danger to his mother. Reluctantly, I began to reveal the truth. "You're my wife. You should at least do that. I can't be with you anymore. I'm divorcing you." "Divorce," I declared. My husband fell silent for a moment, then begrudgingly responded, "I see. If you insist on divorcing me, then I don't have a choice. But you're the one who asked for the divorce. You don't get a share of the property." "What are you talking about? You're the one who caused the divorce, so I'll take what I can get." "Don't be ridiculous. I'm not paying you a dime. The divorce was your idea, it's not my fault." I'm disgusted. You're the one who tried to force me to drink a cup of laxative tea in the first place. How can you think that you're not at fault? Besides, I have a big weapon against him so that he will be punished. But before I could mention it, he abruptly hung up. Well, I have a lot of things to do, like arranging a lawyer, so I'll let it go for now. Afterward, my husband questioned why my belongings were missing from the house, complaining that it was falling apart because I didn't do the chores. I received numerous unreasonable and selfish messages. No, you're willing to divorce me, aren't you? Do you understand that you have to take care of the house by yourself once we are divorced? Despite many aspects I wanted to clarify, I refrained from responding to my husband until after I had secured a lawyer. Subsequently, my mother-in-law was discharged from the hospital, and my husband and in-laws visited my parents' house. My husband and in-laws are in a bad mood. Divorce is not an option, but I'll comply. You didn't even come to visit my mother in the hospital after what happened to her. You just got out of her house, taking your belongings. How can I stay married to a woman like that? My husband said in an arrogant way. My mother-in-law kept on giving me a nasty look, and it seemed that my husband and mother-in-law told the whole story only from their point of view. So my father-in-law believes my husband's story. Sophia, I think you're being a little selfish. My father-in-law is the only sane person in my husband's family. I'm sure he would think that if he were told only my husband's side of the story. I took out my phone and played an audio clip. I had actually planted a large amount of powdered laxative in Luna's tea. In many ways, the audio was solid evidence. As soon as they heard this audio, my husband and mother-in-law's faces turned pale. How did that conversation come about? My husband had dug his own grave, father. I felt I was in danger. I quickly replaced mother-in-law's tea with my own. Then, mother-in-law suddenly got a stomachache. She has consistently subjected me to bullying, and initially my husband harbored resentment towards my mother-in-law for it. However, things took a turn when they both joined forces and began targeting me together. Matters escalated when my husband, crossing a boundary, faced the consequences. Witnessing my explanation, my father-in-law displayed a furious expression, directing his glare at both my husband and mother-in-law. Hey, Henry, what's happening? Is it true that you were also involved in bullying her? I questioned. Caught off guard, my husband and mother-in-law felt embarrassed as my father-in-law confronted them. Attempting to downplay the seriousness of their actions, my husband interjected. No, wait, Dad. It was just for fun. Luna felt sick, and I was merely adding laxatives to her tea. It was meant to be a lighthearted surprise. I would never intentionally bully her. My mother-in-law chimed in. Exactly. I was just joking with her as well. Calling it bullying is a stretch. Displeased with their dismissive attitude, my father-in-law retorted, I don't care if you label it as a joke. Such actions aren't acceptable. Don't think you can evade consequences forever. As the truth unfolded, I revealed an envelope containing photographic evidence of my husband's affair, obtained from a private detective agency. Placing it on the table, I confronted him. Did you really believe I was oblivious? Your distant and cold demeanor raised suspicions, leading me to hire an investigative agency. My husband's face paled further as he processed the revelation, realizing that his actions were no longer hidden. I never believed you were actually having an affair. It seemed more like an attempt to harass me, pushing me towards initiating a divorce. It became evident that I had struck a nerve when my husband started breaking out in a cold sweat. Presenting him with the divorce papers was the final blow, exploiting the undeniable disadvantage anyone would feel in such a situation. Naturally, I made it clear that I would pursue alimony and a fair share of our property. Additionally, I hinted at reporting the assaults related to the laxative incident to the authorities. The mention of involving the police seemed to catch my husband off guard. The police? Wait a minute, don't you feel sorry for Henry? I questioned. It's not just my husband. Your mother-in-law is equally responsible. He was collaborating with you. Wait a minute. Why am I supposed to be arrested? It was Henry who planted the laxative. Mom, you came up with this plan. Don't try to put this solely on me. You asked me to help you because you found a new potential wife, my husband interjected, leading to a heated argument between him and my mother-in-law. Neither of them was willing to admit their guilt. As the dispute escalated, my father-in-law finally reached his limit and snapped, declaring, "Enough. You both committed a crime. Give it up and take responsibility together. Don't complain when the police take you away. And Henry, you need to take responsibility for the affair. Pay Luna the alimony she deserves, and she'll receive your share of the property." My husband and mother-in-law were visibly shaken by my father-in-law's stern words. Grateful that he intervened before my own father could lose his temper, I suggested, "Let's handle the rest through lawyers." Urging my husband to sign the divorce papers promptly, he hesitated, but my father-in-law's insistence led to his eventual compliance. "I am truly sorry for the trouble my stupid son and my stupid wife have caused you. I apologize." My father-in-law expressed remorse before escorting my husband and mother-in-law home. Following this, I pursued a claim for alimony through my lawyer, targeting both my ex-husband and the adulterer. I received $30,000 from each of them. Subsequently, I filed a police report against my ex-husband and ex-mother-in-law for assault, providing evidence such as the audio recording of my husband planting the laxative intentionally and the tea made during the incident. As a result, they were arrested. Both of them faced fines. Interestingly, my ex-father-in-law became so disgusted with my ex-mother-in-law that he decided to leave her, seeking a divorce. Consequently, my ex-mother-in-law found herself working to pay the fine independently. However, due to the mutual betrayal between her and my ex-husband, she couldn't even rely on her own son. Currently, she is working part-time for a modest monthly salary to cover the fine. Regarding my ex-husband, his affair partner was infuriated with him for falsely claiming they could get married without causing me any trouble. She confronted my ex-husband, leading him to promise to pay her alimony instead. To fulfill this commitment, he borrowed money from a consumer loan and paid the affair partner's alimony to me in one lump sum. At that moment, the affair partner disappeared. In essence, my ex-husband was abandoned by both me and the affair partner, leaving him burdened with a substantial debt, something he rightfully deserved. On the brighter side, I achieved my desired outcome, securing my share of the property. Currently residing in an apartment on my own, I am working diligently. Recently, I earned a promotion, and I am contemplating celebrating with a trip alongside friends or my parents. Reflecting on the past, I recognize that intentionally making someone drink tea containing laxatives is a crime, not a joke. Both my ex-husband and ex-mother-in-law should face severe consequences. Nevertheless, I am grateful that my father-in-law was a decent person who understood what I was going through. Although this was a disaster, I hope that Luna will find a wonderful person in the near future.